from the beyond and haunting interviews with your cringe-worthy host, Woody G. Watts. Welcome to Hill City Paranormal.
This is Woody Watts with Hill City Paranormal, and recently I had an absolute blast being interviewed by a paranormal team located in Ireland. This interview was streamed to their website, on YouTube, and Facebook, and we talked about aliens and my beliefs in aliens, Sasquatch, and we shared some stories that I have experienced and our team has experienced, and we even touched on our book, Tales from the Beyond, Series 1. Now, this interview, while I appreciate technology, you may hear some audio glitches from 3 separate connections all across the globe, so please excuse that. However, this interview is a really good representation of my beliefs and views on aliens, and I get to share some wonderful, scary stories about our Sasquatch encounters.
Hello, Hill City Paranormal in Virginia, United States. We are going to be talking about 3 topics tonight that may have interest to you. We're going to be talking about aliens, the Sasquatch, otherwise known as the Bigfoot, and Woody's book, Tales from the Beyond. We're also going to be doing a poll dedicated to the Sasquatch and the aliens, and we'll have the results of that halfway through the show. We'll also be doing a quiz where you can participate if you can try and find the answer to the quiz. It's like a type of hangman. You can try and win a prize coming up towards Halloween, a special prize. So first of all, I'm going to introduce Kean. Hello, Kean. Can you hear me? Kean, also a GhostEire team member. How you doing, Kean? Very relaxed there. Don't fall asleep. And hello, Woody from Virginia.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me.
How you doing? I'm just going to pass you all on to Kean. He's going to tell you how you can contact us.
So you
when
can
you're
contact
ready,
us
Kean.
through our website. All right. You can contact us through our website. The website being www.ghosteire.net. So just go to the contact page, fill in the blanks. If you have a private message, just put in brackets private. You can also comment on this live feed. If you are affiliated with any paranormal team or tourist attraction, just put in brackets the name of your organization. We'll give a shout out to you. We're also live streaming on our website. Just go on to the GhostEire channel page. And yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, Kean. You can say goodbye now. I'm only joking. Okay, so if you're watching, there might be a bit of delay again. Past your bedtime, definitely. So we're going to talk about aliens first with Woody there. And Woody, the first thing is about, I suppose, about the history of aliens there to find objects yourself.
All right, say I lost you a bit. You said, have I seen
or aliens yourself?
Yes, I
you've
had
seen any alien.
Was what kind of ignited my paranormal interest. I'd always kind of been into sci-fi, horror, and all that stuff. But when I was in high school, a friend of mine, we were in his backyard and we were just hanging out. This was before cell phones, before, way back when. And we were hanging out and we both look up and we see an object with 6 lights parallel, and it sways back and forth across the sky, and it looked like like on a clock, like a pendulum. It kind of swayed, went back and forth, and then all of a sudden it stopped and hovered, and then it took off it just took off in the sky, and we had no idea, no clue, no nothing. From that day, I want to know what that was, and that just kind of started the ball rolling for me. So it's funny that now we do aliens, Sasquatch, and ghost, and it all kind of started with a UFO sighting over 20 plus years ago.
And with like everyone knows about Roswell and 1947,
Yep.
and it was July the 4th and Mount Rainier. Just a question about that. The cover up, there's a big cover up, I say, was weather balloons and all that with Roswell. Was it a cover up? In your own opinion, was it real?
I honestly believe it was real. I really do. I mean, given all the information, all the documentaries done, and then, I feel like it was such an important incident, and there's so much talk about there being an incident that if it's not a cover, if it's not a cover up, I would be shocked, because, this legend has lasted what? 60 plus years now, over 50 some years, and it will not die. And, and then you can't definitively say that, oh no, this was this, but, and I feel like it was easier to cover up things then, before cell phones, before Facebook, before live streaming even existed. Like, you really could have something happen out in the middle of nowhere and no one would ever know. And the only way people would ever hear about it is it's passed down from this person to this person to this person. And my gut tells me that it happened, and I hope in my lifetime one day that, we would get evidence that it did happen. But I think that even this year, starting to see the government acknowledging UFOs exist, with the pilots flying, they seeing UFOs, and, the government actually, not really denying it. I think that we're starting to see the turn where it's like, maybe we are ready to fully hear about it, to believe, so people won't lose their minds if they did say it was real. So I absolutely think it happened. I really do. And I'd love to go out there one day. I need to make a trip just to feel the area.
So it's a place that everyone would love to go there. I hope to go there in the future there, but that's not if I'm adopted first there. But as you said, like, it's coming out more open, and our knowledge into extraterrestrial life is expanding. But do you reckon with, like, say, civilization, religious orders, would that threaten the way people's beliefs? Is it too much for people to take in, something like that?
I think that's one of the reasons why there have been so many cover-ups, because as a group, I just don't think we've been ready. I really don't. And I think that when it does happen, we'll be at a point in our history that you just can't deny it anymore. I think we're almost to that point now where you have evidence from pilots themselves that they're UFOs. And I think that you have so many stories out there from people that have had experiences, and you can't automatically discount someone's abduction experience just because, oh, that's an alien. No, these people believe it with every fiber in their being. And I know this because I saw lights as well. And I'm not crazy. Like, I know what I saw. I know what I felt. I know what I experienced. And you could call my friend up right now and ask him, hey, what did you see that night? And he would tell you the exact same story. And I haven't spoken to him in a few years. So I think that we're becoming kind of conditioned to be able to accept it. Like, think about what we accept now in movies versus movies 20 years ago. Like, what used to be, PG-13 or rated R then, now 10 years, 20 years later, it's like a completely different thing. So I feel like, and it may threaten some people's outlook, but I think that's, my beliefs. I already have a tremendous amount of faith. So for me, believing in a UFO is not that far out there. Like, I don't have to see something to believe in it, So it's like, here's what I got. Look at it. That's what I'm waiting for. Same with Bigfoot. Like, I've seen a footprint, but I want to actually see him or her or whatever, just to know. But yeah, it might shake some people to the core once it finally comes out that UFOs are real, and this whole time they've been covering it up. But it's been a crazy year so far. So maybe 2020 will be
Yeah.
the year that they actually admit it. So
I know nothing would surprise me at the moment there. As you said, like things like films, as you said, that gets outdated and probably people's beliefs. The more we explore, not even our own world, but outside, that things will put people in a different perspective there. Keen, what do you believe? Have you ever seen any UFOs? Keen's a nature
I
man,
have a
by the
story,
way.
all
There's
right.
bat surveys. Go
All
ahead, go.
right, I have a
Just tell us
story,
for
all
a minute.
right. It's about Rose.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a story, all right. It was about 10 years ago. Um, just walking home there one night. I seen, I think how many lights there was it? I seen about 5 or 6 spherical lights, in a kind of horizontal line across the sky, and actually doing a little kind of maybe L-shaped, just kind of carving up, vertically. Then they were orange in color, and I just thought it was weird. And I was walking towards on the way home, and it was definitely moving because it started to get larger and larger. The light, so to the size of like say if you had a skittle, you held it up in front of you. It was about that size in the sky, and um, yeah, and even a few more lights started to appear on top of it. Yeah, and this went on for about 5 or 10 minutes when I was walking home, and eventually it disappeared, like so. But
Right. And where was this? This was in Killarney, was it?
yeah,
Or
it was, yeah, because actually there were YouTube videos of it. Um,
all right.
I didn't really say much about it. Like I said it, I said it to to my father, all right, when I got home, and my brother, and yeah, I was talking, I was talking about it, like, but I didn't say much about it. I didn't really think much about it at the time. But there were a few YouTube videos in, and they were claiming like that it was a UFO or something. Within Killarney, I don't know if it's actually still up on YouTube. I'd have to check it out again. But I
Okay.
did look up a few videos in online, and there were similar cases all over the world claiming, that it was a UFO, similar to what I saw.
Okay.
I'd be more specifically
And
down in Mexico.
all right. Okay. And I'll go back to you there, Woody. Like UFOs, like as you I've been reading just a tiny bit about it. Your knowledge is much vaster than mine. They've only been seen like accounts like in the last 100 years since aviation has flourished. Would that have any significance? Would it be like say with like 1947 Roswell and the Cold War, just after the Second World War? Is it to do with countries up against each other? Would that have an account for some of the sightings?
I think it could. I think that it's so, again, like over time we don't know what we're looking at, right? Like, in the sky, like if we have a sighting and we see a string of lights, just like my story with the horizontal lights matches his story with horizontal lights, and then you really don't know until you start talking about it. So I think yes, there have been cases where there have been things that are seen that are from other countries or that are misidentified, but I really think that UFOs have probably been around longer than what we think. And I mean, there are even people that I don't know that I certain believe this part, but there are stories in the Bible that they feel like could be UFO references before they knew that they were UFOs. So I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole really quick in when did sightings start, and it could have been in biblical time all the way till now. And then of course with the Cold War and everything else, you've got missiles and planes and Lord knows what. And I think people see that, but in like now, like almost everybody has a drone now, so when you see lights in the sky, you have to think now, like, all right, is it a plane, is it a drone? Because 50 100 years, yeah, there's a Superman, I don't know, is it the bat signal, I don't but even like flights and everything, there are so many planes that are flying now, there's so many that compare it to years ago. So it's almost like when an incident happened in the 50s, I'm not quick to discredit it, because I feel like they had less air clutter than what we do now. We have satellites going across all the time. So I think that you really have to, each one is a separate thing, but I think that they've been around longer than what we think, and I think hopefully once it comes out, I really do hope one day it comes out. I think people will all of a sudden in the back of your mind, you'll think, oh yeah, maybe that was a UFO I saw. Oh yeah, that was a, it's just one of those things. Cause like just the same thing with, we'll talk about this Bigfoot, but like there are fish and creatures down there that we've never seen with our eyes, but they're on this planet. So, I mean, you know, you pick a star out of the sky. Who's to say that it's not extraterrestrial? So it's just so many possibilities. I think you almost have to keep an open mind, especially when you're in the paranormal field, Bigfoot, UFO, anything that involves amount of faith. I think you have to keep an open mind to, that, hey, that's, it might be someone looking down or something.
True. And as you said there, it's people with, like you mentioned, like you were just on to my next question, which is about the ancient world, like, the Egyptians and Stonehenge. If there was any links to that, and as you just probably mostly answered the question there, it goes far back further. Sightings and accounts go back further. It's just, I suppose, people have a connection with it now more as like if John sees this, then they can relate to it. They couldn't really relate to it in the past. It's what a person down the road could. In there. Sorry, my microphone just popped down there. But as you said, what do you believe that like ancient monuments and all that, would that be any connection with extraterrestrial life?
I mean, I think it could, honestly, because like I did see Stonehenge one time. We did come over and look at that, and then like the pyramids and stuff like that. I think that, again, I think you got to keep an open mind. I'm not saying that it wasn't done by humans or couldn't be done. It very well could have been, and we just have not discovered how they did it. But I wouldn't be against it, honestly. I mean, something as massive and impressive as the pyramids. I mean, is it that far out that something could a long time ago could have done that? Like, I mean, and even recently there have been radio waves picked up by scientists, and they have a pattern, and it could be from an advanced civilization millions of light years away. So if that's the case, are they gone now? Like, I mean, we're just now receiving this repetitive signal, and they picked up on it. It goes for like 12 days, all 4, 12, 4, 12, 4, and it's a pattern. So like, is that something, that we're hearing the end of a civilization? Maybe, we don't know. And so I think for us, there's so much that happens that time is like the blink of an eye for us, and I think that we have to realize that it's just such a bigger picture out there. And I just wouldn't be surprised that if there was evidence that something did put the pyramids there, it would not surprise me. And just like I said, there's biblical stories like Elijah being taken up in the Bible. Like, some think that it wasn't a chariot. It could have been a UFO. Like, I mean, so anything is like, gosh, there's just so many references that if we did get evidence, we could go back and look and like, well, that could have been a UFO. That could have been a UFO. So I absolutely think there's a connection.
Yeah, as you said there, like angels and people, the biblical times about angels being taken away and visited by angels. People's, we just don't know if that's what Hollywood does with an alien. What people think they are. People have different accounts of what an alien would look like, and then as well, alien life as well. What is alien life? It's existence outside our own world. So like Mars is supposed to be, we haven't really studied that yet as well, like properly anyway. I've got a few questions anyway, and I just want to say, if you have any accounts of aliens yourself or UFOs, please do put them forward. We can put them forward to Woody there. Sinead is a GhostEire team member. She says, so true, guys. There was so much more going out there than we realised. The cover-ups that happen all the time. You just have to listen to the alternative news media. And Sinead's a GhostEire team member. She works for Facebook, so she knows about cover-ups.
Yes, the biggest cover-up there is. Oh God.
We have Madeline Brunigal. Hi, Madeline. And Madeline's from Arkansas, and it's very hot there at the moment, apparently there.
Yeah.
They probably couldn't handle the truth on any of these topics, which is probably, as you were saying there, Woody, there people, I suppose we can't contemplate. We can't even go without toilet roll for a bit, you know?
Oh my gosh. And yeah, now we have a coin shortage. Like who would have thought in 2020 we would run out of toilet paper and we would run out of coins in the United States? And it's like, I just cannot fathom, So yeah, maybe you're right.
Jesus,
Please don't tell us they're UFOs yet, because we might our heads will explode. Yeah, we are having a coin shortage over here. So what's next? I have no clue.
Siobhan Gallagher says hi. Thanks, Siobhan. How you doing? Sinead says again, big UFO fan here. I think they have been here for hundreds, thousands of years, but now is seen as a plane and something otherwise otherworldly. Thanks, Sinead. So questions there. So we're just going to go over to a quiz. So next, folks. So this is a chance for yourselves to win put yourself in a draw towards October, where you can win a special prize. I'm just going to show you what the question is. So just 1 second. So it's this type of hangman. I'm going to give you the clue now. So the clue is to guard against psychic attack, and it's a word. So it's to guard against psychic attack, and it's A_ET__S_. So it's to guide against psychic attack. It's see if you can get this one. This is interesting. If you get the answer before the end of the show, we'll put you in the draw. We have Jerry. Jerry was on the last show, and Jerry's a good friend of Woody. And
Jerry's wonderful. We love Jerry.
Hey, y'all. I made it.
That's it. Jerry, you got it. Y'all, you got it.
Y'all. You probably it's midway through the afternoon now in America. There, it's coming up to midnight here in Ireland. Hello, everyone. So we're just going to go on to the next subject. But before that, Cian, can you tell us how people can contact us? You there, Cian?
Yeah.
He's gone to sleep. Oh, jeez.
He's asleep now. Yeah.
No, I'm good. No, just give me 1 second.
They're waiting to know how to contact us.
You can contact us. Hold on a second. Don't be smart. You can contact us through our website, www.GhostEire.net. Go to the contact page, fill in the blanks. If you have a private message, just put in the brackets private. You can also comment on this live feed. If you're affiliated with any paranormal team or tourist attraction, just put in brackets the name of the organization, and we'll give a shout out to you. We're also streaming live on our website, so just go on to the GhostEire page. You got that?
Yeah, and if you have any questions, well, just put them up on this post. And if you're part of any team, yeah, I've just said, I know, there's no point. Yeah, we're fine. Okay, I just passed another question from the statement from Madeline, and she says, well, they say the first case of squirrel dying from the bubonic plague in Colorado, so that's the bet for next month. All right.
Yeah, I believe it.
No,
yeah. And so now we have to worry about the plague. Great. After COVID, that'd be wonderful.
I know, and I think that Jerry says, love to you all, and she says, I'm here, wake up. Yeah, okay, I know that. And Tony Hannigan, it says, okay, we'll put this question first before we go on to the next subject. Tony says, do you ever think we're being drip-fed images, etc., without the commitment of saying yes, they exist in an attempt to prepare us for the eventual admission of their existence? So,
yes, Tony, I believe that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I suppose it's something that that could be covered up before something else happens. Like I don't know who's doing the dominant race, either us or maybe the extraterrestrials. I don't know. And Sinead said just one.
It was like
go on.
No, it's like she said, the alternative news media. I think that now we are conditioned to whatever we're given or shown. I think it's important for us to question. I think that we need to always have questions and always, not go in with a lack of trust, but we also need to be aware, because I think that absolutely, Tony's right. I think that is a thing that if we were shown something, that this is how it is, and I think that maybe we are being shown little things, and even through movies. I mean, just like the moon landing could have been faked. I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories. Has all this been planned in their conditioning? And part of me thinks that the government is not smart enough to hold on to this for that long. But then the other part is like maybe they're a lot smarter and nefarious than what we think they are.
And Sinead just goes on to say, "Go on, Kean. Why do you think UFOs are synonymous with America rather than Europe or other parts of the world, in your opinion?" I wouldn't really agree on that there, but what do you reckon, Woody? Is it more claims in America, do you reckon?
That's a good question. I think it may be Americans. I don't know. I can speak for myself. We tend to overshare, so it might be something as simple as like, I mean, we just, how we are. Like, it's always got the phone up, we're like, or, they think we're weird, we're weird, and they come visit us more for some reason. I don't know. That's a good question though.
And so we'll move on. That's a good question. A good answer there, Woody. So we're going to just move on to the next subject, and that is the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot. And as I know, we could talk for ages on aliens there, and we could just talk as much on the Bigfoot. So we're going to be here for another 4 hours. I'm just joking.
That's it, all night long.
About the Bigfoot. So if you have any experiences as well, the public audience there, if you have any experiences with Bigfoot or unusual stuff in the woods, no, not too unusual, but you can put your question forward or your experience. So there's footage of Roger Patterson from 1967. It's famous footage, and it's Bigfoot there. What you obviously you've seen the footage, the whole world has seen it there. Well, would you say that's authentic?
I would, and I feel like I'm by no means an expert, okay, but I feel like I offer a little bit different perspective in the paranormal Sasquatch field, because I own a video production business where we do commercials and stuff, and I'll even make car commercials with Bigfoot in them, or UFOs in them or whatever. And from a filmmaking standpoint, back when this was filmed in 67, I know how hard it is now to even get a costume that looks halfway decent, that shows muscles, that, it's just a tremendous amount of effort, and then it's never really real, And so the filmmaker side of me looks back at that film, and I think it's real just for the fact that it was in 67. How in the world would they get a costume that looks remotely like that could move like that could show everything that it does? It would be hard to do today. I mean, we have in our social distancing that, in videos that we do, we have a costume, and that's today, and I know how hard that is, and still doesn't convey. So I absolutely think that it is real. And I think that, again, I've been out Bigfooting in the woods with several cameras, and that's how I make my living. I film. I have a camera in my hand 90% of the day. Okay. And even still, when we go Bigfooting, it's hard. It's hard to capture things quick. It's hard because you're not prepared. Like, you hear something and something's always off. Like, and we found footprints, and to take an accurate picture of that footprint was extremely hard. And coming from a photographer, videographer, I now, when I hear stories, like, I don't automatically jump to the case where, they're lying because of a blurry picture. No, I get it. Like, I absolutely 100% know how tough it is to be quick and then I have 4K high definition, whatever cameras out there, and I still can't do it. So I get it. So I absolutely think that footage, my gut says that it's real. And I think that a lot of that is because of the time it was done, and just how hard it would have been to create something like that. And if you watch the Hollywood movies during that time, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like, those are big budget movies going on with special effects and compare that to a homemade video that stands up how many 50 years, 40 years later, I don't know. I can't discredit it honestly. So yeah, I am a believer in that footage.
And like
Seen
they
a
call it, remember,
video
it's,
there.
it's Mac. Go ahead, Dave.
Sorry. No, I've
Go
seen
ahead,
a
Keane.
documentary there before. Interesting. Like, yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you there.
Am I
And
clear?
I'll just pass you quickly on to Keen.
All
Keen, you
right.
mentioned, yeah, you're clear. You mentioned there, I was talking to you about the Bigfoot. Then you mentioned, yeah, there was some case, I think it was in China. Like in China, they referred to the Bigfoot as the Chinese wild man. And there was some, Ohio, I think it was Ohio University did a study, and it was something to do with DNA. Was it something like that, Keen?
Yeah, I mean, like they've supposedly found hair samples. I can't remember. I think they found hair samples. Well, actually, it was in Canada or something. You know, just scraping off branches of trees or barbed wire or something. But they did an
Yeah.
investigation to that video as well. Back, you know, that infamous video back in the '60s, and they they tried to debunk it, of course, to see if it could have been anything else, or if it could have been a man, of course, in a suit. And yeah, the points of the muscles moving and everything, I think they were all brought up in the conversation. But like they were at the location and everything, and they were trying to estimate, you know, is it possible that a man can lumber just exactly like a ape-like creature within the terrain around there, and they disproved that it was not possible, like, you know, for a human to imitate such movement. And then they were trying to figure out, like, if there was any chance they could map up the height of it within that terrain. And yeah, again, I think that was disproved. But when they mapped out the height of the animal that was within the background of that terrain, you know, however they did it, you know, with the cameras and everything, all those fixtures, they figured that the animal was, I think, estimated to be over 8 feet tall. You know, a massive creature, of course, like, or maybe more, 9 feet.
And as you said, there was about 8 feet tall. Like all these sightings, apart from a few of them, there's accounts of being 3 foot as well in China. I think they called a Yeren or something like that. But it's been called a beast, and because of the size of it there. But it's very rare accounts of them attacking people, and I don't know if there's any accounts being fatal. I don't know if that's true. We'll do there. Would that, has anybody died and with consequence of being encountered with Bigfoot? You know.
Well, all right. Here's the thing about that. Like, it's funny that you bring that part up, because if you look at my hat, right? Okay. All right.
Okay.
So that is it's called the wood booger, right? I know it sounds ridiculous, but it is, and so this is a local legend to our area. Well, supposedly a Sasquatch that lives in the woods, hence the wood part, and then the booger part comes from boogeyman, because supposedly this Sasquatch kidnaps kids and babies. Okay, so I have never heard of a fatality from a Sasquatch, but I will say that I personally haven't heard of one. If they exist, I would love to hear about it. But for this legend in our area, there have been quite a few stories of a Bigfoot stealing things or stealing a pot. Like this one lady, this is a legitimate phone call. She called the cops because she saw what she thought of a Bigfoot, a hairy humanoid, walking across the yard carrying a baby. So I mean, and that's been cited multiple times. So I haven't heard of like a Bigfoot attack, but I'm not so sure that we would even know if it was a Bigfoot attack. Like if it did kill someone or something, I don't even know if we would be able to tell, or if there would be anything left, or so there could have been 100 of them and we would never know. And but it's interesting though that this legend of the wood booger in our area has picked up and picked up and picked up. So that tells me there's been multiple sightings across that area with him kidnapping stuff. So very well could have attacked, but for the most part, I think they're so smart that they are aware that there's something out there looking, and that they're being self-aware. They can hide. So I think they're a lot smarter than what we think, if you believe in them.
They got to be very timid, like a wolf too. Like if they were so
Yeah.
well hidden. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like Keane's
I
our
totally
nature
agree,
man
yep.
who goes there. He would know a lot more of nature there. You do a lot of bat surveys there. I don't know what questions you asked the bats, but but what I was going to say, you said like they're mainly elusive, so that's the most that the people give it called a beast. I don't know who's a beast, them or us. Like I'm just going to show a video now. This is to social distancing, and this is a great video. I've seen this on Woody's page there, hillcityparanormal.com. I'm just going to show you this there and enjoy this, folks. This is about social distancing, and I'll let the video do itself there.
Welcome to the Hill City Paranormal Guide to Social Distancing. For example,
Let's take our friend, Franklin Benjamin Bigfoot, for example. No, Frank, it's okay. It's only me, the narrator, and you. That's it. Let's take our friend, the reigning world social distancing champion since 1967. Franklin, or Frank as his friends call him, you're going to show us exactly how to excel at social distancing. Step 1. Be sure to always have at least 6 feet of space between you and those around you. Step 2. Do not gather in groups. Step 3. Stay out of crowded places and avoid mass gatherings. Step 4. Wait, where did Frank go? Franklin? Well, this has been Hill City Paranormal's Guide to Social Distancing.
That was Frank. Good old Frank. That's Jerry loves Frank.
And I love the was it the Doom video you did with
yeah.
Oh, that's very funny there, like and
yeah.
poor Frank.
Oh, we have a good time. Frank, he's a good sport. He'll show up for our videos every now and again.
So I'm just going to go on to a few questions there. We'll probably cover more questions, actually, I'd like to ask. As you said, probably one more question before I ask you there about the Sasquatch. They call it the Yowie in Australia, the Chinese wildman. They call it Elmus. Is it Elmus in Russia? But do you reckon because of exploration, people like, I suppose, Darwin and all that, people exploring in the 19th and 20th century, as you mentioned before, we're still exploring. Is there a chance that there's possible parts of the world we haven't explored yet, and there's ancient civilizations, wildlife that we haven't seen? Would you agree on that?
I would, absolutely. I think that because I know where I live firsthand. I mean, we have the Appalachian Trail that we live close to, that you could walk from Virginia down to Georgia and never be seen by anybody. And there's mountains, and and like where this story, the Wood Booger, takes place. I mean, there are places in that area that you can drive for 45 minutes to an hour and not see anyone or anything. And it's always like, it's a case where when you go through there, you need to make sure you have a full tank of gas, because there's no gas stations, there's nothing. So I think that, yes, there's absolutely a chance that we just haven't discovered it yet. And if we take, for example, the ocean, how vast the ocean is, and how many species of fish that we discover every day or every year that we have no clue what else is out there. I think that and then couple that with the fact that, what if Bigfoot is very smart and, like you said, like very timid, and what if he has very good instincts? Take that, and then you say, well, there's only a few of them left, and then put them in dense forest. You could go years without actually seeing one, but I think that if we do not automatically try to discredit people's sightings, I think we would realize that people have seen them more than what we realize. but automatically, like the Patterson Gimlin footage, people are automatically, they jump to the fact, oh, it's fake. And it's like, and I, myself included, like I know what I saw. I saw a footprint. I saw it. I touched it. It was there. And then still people are like, oh, that's crazy. No, I know. I was in the woods when we found it. So, it's if you go back through history, you're like, well, maybe they were telling the truth. I think we would realize that maybe Bigfoot has actually been seen quite a bit more than what we give him credit for, or her, or, whatever Bigfoot may be.
As you said, like the mapping, like even like 20% of the sea hasn't been mapped, and they're only starting to do that now. Do you want to add to that, Keen?
And like not just intelligence, but even like the senses have got to be extraordinary. And like I would doubt now that it has a very has a very acute sense of smell. Like us ape, as ape like creatures we are, like, so we're not. Our noses, I don't think, are physically designed for acute sense of smell, like, they're not that big or anything, like, so. Well, although like, the ancient man, when they used to eat, like, they used to always sniff first before they actually ingest, like, but yeah, that was supposed to, but of course we've kind of gone on that, like, yeah, but yeah, no,
Okay, I just got a few questions.
Of course,
Woody said,
they
no,
need
it's
such
Jerry's side.
if they want to, sorry. No, yeah, no, they need such
So I just got.
if they need to, mate with another female, for example, like, so, yeah, and pass on, genes to our next generation.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how can you find your way around, like, in such a, vast countryside, like, yeah, it's
True.
like, is there a big other evidence?
I'm not at the moment myself.
Is there any other evidence you know of, maybe within your vicinity, besides footprints, maybe such as obvious trails, maybe even a fecal matter or anything? Just
well, yeah. Actually, where we were, what made us look for a footprint was we were in the middle of it's a state park where, and I cannot stress this enough, there was nothing in the area. Like, I mean, we drove 45 minutes and didn't see a house. And then we parked the car and then we hiked another 30 minutes into the woods. Okay, so that's how far out in the middle of the forest we were. And what made us actually look down for a footprint is we saw 50 to 100 trees, all snapped off, twisted, broken, that were about 6.5 feet high. I'm 6'1", okay? And so they were 6.5 feet to 7 foot high. They were broken off, and they were all sizes. They were all, you would have small trees, big trees. Some of them were like that big, and they were twisted. They were broke, and so that's what made us look in the first place. So for us, it was a very we walked in that area, looked around, and it wasn't like 3 trees. I mean, I'm talking like it was like a whole area had just been ripped apart. And so I think that for me, it already it sent, something's out there. I had a feeling that we just missed something, or there was something watching us. And so that for me, for evidence in this area, I think that was, I mean, if I'd have just saw that, I would have been, I'd have been happy. But then we saw not 1, but 2 footprints. And so I think that the evidence is out there. I feel like the hair thing with DNA testing, I know that there's been hair found, and there's been some tests that it could be this, or it's inconclusive. And I think that that's important. I think that inconclusive may mean something, because we, how many times have we taken a DNA family tree test and then you have 2% that is unknown, so it's like, maybe we just have not synthesized the DNA yet. It's something we don't know, or it may be a combination. So I personally haven't seen what was to be Bigfoot hair or fecal matter or something like that, but the tree breakings, the 2 footprints, and we heard tree knocks, and the smell. It was a horrible smell on the edge of the woods. And it was just like, man, it was a combination of skunk manure and BO. Like it was just like, what is this smell? And then you hear something and you hear tree knocks. It's like, what else could it have been? And I'm as skeptical as everybody, but like at a certain point, it's like, well, it's got to be something. It's got to be something crazy that I've never seen before. So that was a pretty convincing experience to make me a believer if I wasn't already one.
I'm going to talk a bit more to you now. We're going to go extend the show a bit longer because it's very interesting there. Go on, Ian.
I know. I mean, like, obviously it's important to note, the wildlife, that's within the area as well. But I mean, like, within America, there's no ape-like creature, that has such a, that has a footprint. There's no creature within America, is what I'm trying to say, that has a footprint that matches a hominid species. Like most people, I suppose, they distinguish Bigfoot as a bear. Well, most likely, so. But of course, the footprints are very significant too. Yeah, no, I mean, like, if you have anything
saying,
sorry, go on.
I mentioned there to Woody, they're like knocking. Like I've seen a few programs where they use knocking to communicate or to send a signal. Is that what way is that used? Widely used by Bigfoot hunters?
Yeah. So, all right, I'm just a disclaimer right now. So, when I watch Bigfoot shows, and I love watching them, okay, up until this experience, there's always a case of like I roll my eyes when I hear the knocking, right? Right. There's always like, oh God, here they go again. Okay, he's doing the call, like, and that's me. So I get it. I totally get it. But when we were sitting there and in the video, it's the Littleton, North Carolina video. We're sitting there on a log waiting for our guide to come back with the material to cast the footprint. We literally heard tree knocking about 200 yards up on the hill. And we felt, and this is something I can't really put into words, but I hope people grasp, take in what I'm trying to say, is that there was a feeling that something was communicating and its presence was there. And I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds out there, but as we sat there, I knew something had seen us. I just knew it had. And then for the first time in my life, I heard tree knocks. And so it was like all of a sudden the skepticism that I have about the shows and about that, like all of a sudden it just went out the window. And I'm like, okay, like this, I feel like it is trying to communicate or something because there was no one else there. It couldn't have been anything else. And like you were saying, is there an animal in that area that could resemble? Well, I think you're right about bear. I think there may have been some sightings where a bear was standing up and people thought it was Bigfoot, or the footprint might have been alike. But yeah, it could be. But I think that what we experienced, the footprint, the knocking, the smell, and just the fact that we felt something was watching us I've seen a bear one time in the wild. And it's terrifying. Don't get me wrong. It's you're ready to go. Like it's terrifying, but it's just a different feeling. An animal's looking at you. Like with the experience we had Bigfooting, it felt like I don't know. There was like not a connection, but like a feeling like, oh, okay, we know each other exist. What are we going to do now? And then I heard the knocking. Well, we both heard the knocking. My wife and I heard the knocking. And so, yeah, I love being skeptical because when you do find evidence, it's even more rewarding. Like, so it's like, I literally couldn't think of an excuse to overcome what I heard. Like I couldn't think of like, all right, what was that? Okay. Well and then I just had to throw it out the window. Oh, yeah. Okay. Tree knocks. That's weird. The smell. That's weird. The footprints, the trees, everything. All piled together is like, so now when I watch the shows, I roll my eyes less because I'm like, okay, they know something. Yeah, and that is to answer your question, a long-winded answer that I gave you. Yes, tree knocks are believed to be a way to communicate. It's how they communicate. And so our tour guide, he brought a good walking stick, and you would find the right tree, and you would knock and see if you heard any knocks going on. And I had never done it before, and this was my, and I will now when I go in the woods. I'm gonna knock on some trees and just see.
Okay, we'll just go through a few questions before we go on to the next subject. So Jerry says Woody is going to take me on a Sasquatch adventure.
Absolutely, Jerry. We're going to bring Frank too.
Jerry. And not Oklahoma, definitely Frank. Michelle Conley from Back in Time Paranormal Investigations, good friend of the show, of the team. Lots of stories to share, but I have to admit this subject does scare me. One such story that I always think of is this. I was flying home from Thailand. This happened over Saudi Arabia. It was night time, and I was looking out the window, and right beside the wing of the plane, a row of bright green lights appeared. They stayed in one position for at least 10 seconds and vanished as quick as they appeared. Still don't know what it was, but it wasn't another plane, and it wasn't lights on the wing. That I am sure of. That goes back to UFOs. I suppose in the sky, I sometimes I don't be looking out the window myself. Jerry says Frank is the man. Frank is the man. Donny Smith. Hi, Donny. Donny's from America as well. Administrator for the Who.
Hey, Donny.
Hi, Donny.
Yeah,
Donny. I call him Donny because that's how he's. He says Bigfoot. I don't know who's Bigfoot, whose foot he's on about. Jerry says, "Oh yeah, I love that story." And she says, "Woody is shy, doesn't say much." We're into the hour there, but
you'll be here all day talking to me. I never shut up, so you'll just have to cut the feed just to shut me up. I love talking about Bigfoot.
No, you're okay there. So you're brilliant there, buddy. It's fascinating. It's a shame to put two subjects into 1 hour. So we're going to extend this for another quarter of an hour or so. So we did a poll, folks, last week or so. And here are the results. I'm going to share the results with you. So I'm just going to put the graph up for yourselves to see. So we asked the question forward to you all. Sorry, King's in a bit of the wind there. So the question was, which of these choices do you believe exist? And at 70% was aliens and Sasquatch. At 20% was only aliens. At 10% was neither aliens or Sasquatch. And nobody actually voted for just the Sasquatch, which is interesting. And what are your views on that, Woody?
I think that's...
I know it's because we're all...
I actually like... I love that actually is the result, because I think that if you believe in one, you're going to believe in all, because they're all supernatural, all kind of paranormal. And I think that again, aliens are becoming more and more front of mind for everybody. And I think that Sasquatch has, over the last couple of years, he keeps gaining popularity. But I like that they believe in both. That's I want people to believe. I think that it shows, one, a tremendous amount of faith, and two, I think
okay. Can you hear me? Sorry. Yes.
And I think that's proof that people have seen aliens, because I mean, to say that 70% voted for aliens and Sasquatch, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's interesting to vote. It was only only about 10 people, because we didn't get the vote out quick as much. I didn't really know. But aliens and Sasquatch, both 70%. Now aliens 20%, and some people have more of a belief in aliens than Sasquatch, which I suppose probably is the more, I suppose, interested in what's out there than what's around them. I suppose it's what what's familiarized and Hollywoodized by I suppose Hollywood. There's aliens more, so it's more attractive to believe in aliens than Bigfoot, I suppose. You only got to go back to Harry and the Hendersons there, which is what I used to watch as a child, that people would be more fond of eating a Sasquatch than they would do an alien.
Yes.
We're just going to go back to Keen. You're going to tell us how people can contact us.
You can contact us through our website, www.ghosteire.net. So go to the contact page and fill in. You can also comment on this live feed. If you are affiliated with any paranormal team or tourist attraction, just put in brackets the name of the organization and we'll give a shout out to you. We're live streaming on our website, so just go onto the GhostEire channel webpage.
Okay, thanks, Keen. Thanks for slowing that. Thanks for speeding that up for me and give us a chance to do what I have to do.
No problem.
We have got a sort of hangman quiz, so this is your chance to being a chance for a draw around October time, and it's I gave you the clue earlier. It's to guard against psychic attack, and the next clue to this is helps creative thinking, spiritual awareness, healing, and combats insomnia. So it's A_ET_S_. Now I'm going to give another clue in a little bit. So it's to do with guards against psychic attack and helps in creative thinking, spiritual awareness, and healing, and combats insomnia. I'm probably just going to give one more clue in a minute, but before that, I'm just going to go through a few questions there. Keen is just vanished, which is good. So
aliens got him. Aliens picked him up.
Aliens got him. So Donnie says, wildest thing I ever saw was just over at Glyn Castle in Limerick, which is in Ireland, when the night was alive, shadow figures everywhere, poltergeists. Of course, it was a very active place. In the past, beheadings there. The night told me when he was alive. Of course, we were drinking several pints as well in his private bar. That's the night at Glyn there, and I know he passed away there just in the last good few years ago there. And that's Glyn Castle in Limerick. So poltergeist activity, yeah, I won't be surprised with that location because it's to do with the Hellfire Club. It's very associated with the Hellfire Club in Limerick as well, which I know of. So we're going to go off to the next one. Oh, just before I give you another clue, the last clue before we go on for the quiz, and this is probably try and get it before the end of the show if you can. So the clue it was guard against psychic attack and helps creative thinking, spiritual awareness, and healing, and combats insomnia. The last clue, you've got to get it. It's a stone. It's a purple stone. So if you can find the answer to that, you can do. And so Donny says Desmond. It could be the Earl of Desmond. Was it the Earl of Desmond? The Knight of Desmond. Knight of Desmond. That's what Donny was saying. Okay, I'm babbling on here. So the next agenda, Woody, is your book. So we're just going to talk about that. Tales from the Beyond. So I'll just ask a couple of questions about that. Now it's based. There's Woody. He's got the book in front of them there. If we'll send out details then how you can contact and purchase the book. So it tells about witches, zombies, Bigfoot, aliens, ghosts, and the straw man. Now, what's the straw man is particular. That's kind of interesting to me because it's completely different. What's this?
Well, Tales from the Beyond is all right. So early on, you heard me talk about video production and loving sci-fi movies, loving, I love The Twilight Zone. I love The Outer Limits, Creep Show, the Halloween movies, Friday, all the 80s, 90s horror movies and anthologies and just the old classic shows. So being a creative film producer too, my mind often kind of goes to these alternate universes, right? So it's such an interesting place to be that we're into the paranormal and we do investigations and we do that, but we also create um, commercials and productions for companies book that really was short stories that were very much like they were very much like the Twilight Zone, where you could read one, put the book down, come back a week later, read another one, and you kind of gave you a little chills, right? So how the book came to be is very interesting because our podcast, we have people contact us and call us, and it's wonderful. And I got a call from a listener at the time that he had a book, and we just kind of connected and became instant friends. And Jared and I have just we're like souls, you know, like we instantly start talking, and he writes books and he writes short stories. So it was like, oh my gosh, man, I like, this is a wonderful thing. Like let's talk about it. So we start collaborating. He has a publishing company called Wicked Harvest Books, and he has some amazing books out there. So, you know, anybody wants some spooky books, he's the man. So we start bouncing back stories of like local legends that are in my area and featuring the Hill City Paranormal team, but in a like a fictional. So we start bouncing these stories back and forth of every story in it. And like you said, like each one touches on a subject that is that one we have heard stories about, like a legend. Now we've added a little bit to it. We've kind of juiced it up a little bit and added some twists and turns and stuff like that. But each one is kind of based in like a thought that all right, I think I heard a legend about that, or this place was known to be spooky, or like the straw man you're talking about. That story is probably one of my favorites, and that one is very much like anyone is a fan of the old Creep Show. There's a one of the segments in there features a scarecrow, and it's very much, you know, they're all these stories are kind of taken from this universe that we kind of dwell in. So it was a fun project. It's a fun book, and you know we're blessed enough to send copies out across the United States, the UK. It's available on Amazon, and honestly, it's like this little world we live in that we think people will enjoy.
And yeah, the straw man, as you said, I suppose we have a straw man ourselves in Ireland. It's called Jack O'Lantern. It's supposed to be he was supposed to be the fella that started Halloween. He was too good for hell and he was too bad for heaven, and he was stuck in between, and that's Jack O'Lantern, a type of scarecrow. So that fascinates. We all have a fascination with strawmen there.
Yeah.
Kean, you still awake?
Yeah. No, I'm good.
He's a scarecrow himself.
I have a nice garden bench here, so don't mind me. I'm good.
Jerry's got the answers 2 times in a row, and she's got the answer, and it's amethyst. It's a type of crystal.
Jerry.
Well done, Jerry. That's 2 in a row.
Jerry.
So we put your name in for the end of for the start of October. We'll put your name in twice. What have you got up? What have you got for? Have you got a second book? Would you have a second book coming out, Woody?
I think you know, I hope that we can come out with you know, a couple of because we got series 1, and I'm hoping that we'll continue these series. We have a children's book we're working on now, and I also hope that we can in the future. I want to do an actual not a, you know, I want to do a true book, a true story book about some of the investigations that we've done. And so we've got a good mix, and you know, it's a wonderful collaboration with Jared and his publishing company. And yeah, so the series 2, I don't have a date yet, but you know, Jared and I, we're always kind of like, we have an idea pit that we put the stories in, and some of those stories will actually become short films. Like I have filmed a short story now that we'll probably release around September or fall, you know, Halloween. And we have 2 more that are pulled from the book. So we're kind of you might even hear them in our podcast because a few of our episodes are very theatrical. Like, they feature stories like this. So, yeah, with us, like, who knows what will come up in a month? Like, we'll have investigations, the podcast, the book. We've got a children's coloring book that we're working on. So I love getting content and branding, and I love just fun stuff. So Hill City Paranormal, if you remember anything, you'll remember at least they might have cool merch, and they'll have cool things that I can look at. So that's exciting.
True, because like the logo is amazing, and I've seen a T-shirt.
Thank you.
See, I try and hint at the wife now. There, if not, I'll get her one.
I'll send you one. Don't worry. I'll get your mailing address and send you one.
But I suppose yeah. So where can people contact you or visit there? Like
everything. Our main hub is hillcityparanormal.com. That has all of our videos, like the social distancing. You'll see a mix. Like, you'll see some funny stuff. You'll see actual investigations. You'll see interviews that we've had with people, and we have our podcast on the website. We release a couple episodes a week, interviews. We do a radio show. We have that replay on the podcast, and we have calls from our haunted hotline that we put in there, where people call the hotline and leave a message. They leave their story. No one will pick up. They leave their story. We put it in the podcast for other people to hear. And we have episodes titled Tales from the Beyond that are fictional, spooky stories that I like to produce and add sounds and stuff like that. So hillcityparanormal.com. You'll find everything on there, the haunted hotline, the podcast, all that, and on social media, Instagram and Facebook, Hill City Paranormal. We love to connect, so absolutely reach out to us.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. Like, you leave it like an open phone line for people to contact. I bet there would be a few, as we could say here, Egypts or Hamadons, as you would say, that would be messing
I
as
get
well.
Some. I do. Every week I get a few. I do. I have a collection of those prank calls that I'm keeping. I'm going to do one special episode where I put all the funny ones and put in there for people to hear what I get to listen to. But for the most part, the stories that people leave are spooky, and when I'm editing them, they are terrifying. So people do a good job, and it's a good way to share your experience without people judging you or being ridiculed. Or you can call this number, leave a message, leave your story, and get it off your chest, and then you don't have to worry about somebody looking at you crazy. So it's fun. I get all sorts of calls, and I love all of them.
And it's been great talking to you there, Woody. There, we're going to have to unfortunately sign off for now, but we'll definitely come back again now and get back to you there as well. And it's amazing, and hopefully everything works out and you stay safe in the next foreseeable future there. And we're just going to go run down the polls again and just get a final statement from both of you there. I'm putting you before the inquiry, the judge. So this was what you voted for, folks. We had voted. The question was, which of these choices do you believe exist? You have a choice of 4, and it was aliens and Sasquatch, which was top at 70%. Aliens only at 20%. Neither aliens or Sasquatch at 10%, and nobody voted for just Sasquatch. Woody?
Yeah, poor Frank. That's all right. Nobody believes in him. It's okay.
We love him there. And Keen, what do you think?
About if I believe in what I believe in.
Well, what the people's choice were, I suppose. Okay, Keen, you can go back to bed.
No. You break up every now and again. Like, just trying to catch up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, so, evidence-wise, when you compare the Sasquatch and the aliens, like, I suppose it's on par. Like, so yeah, I don't know if it would surprise me that 70% of the results would be both Sasquatch and alien, because like I said, 70% wise, is on par, like, of the evidence. I don't know. That's what I think, anyways.
And we have Donny, one last question, has put a question forward, and he said, just what state of the US are you from there? Woody?
I am in Virginia, and we live right in the middle to southern part of the beautiful state of Virginia.
Beautiful state. And that's around the east coast of United States.
Yep.
Thank you, Woody.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us this week.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you, Kean, Batman, who's outside in the wilderness at this present moment. And next week we have a special Lutger megalithic region special, which was a GhostEire investigation that we did a couple of years ago. So we've gone through footage, history, baseline testing, experiments and equipment used on that investigation. Thank you, Woody. It was great speaking to you there, and thank you, Kean.
Thank you for having me.
Love to everyone, and thank you people for commenting and joining us on the show this evening. And Slán Gafal Agus Bella Margaret. See you again soon. Bye.
Be sure to check out our website at hillcityparanormal.com and call our haunted hotline at 701-HAUNTED or 701-428-6833 with your spooky tale. Thank you for listening to Hill City Paranormal.